Hi and welcome. In today's video I thought we'd do a little walkthrough of my collection. It's been a couple of months since we've moved into this new house and we've been working quite hard just to kind of create a space and make it like the best planting space that I can make it. So yeah, in today's video we're going to walk through and I'm also going to show you a couple of house updates that we've done along the way as well. Before I get into the video, hi, my name's Alexis and this is Wild Houseplants. I'm a houseplant enthusiast and I also work as a houseplant technician, which means when I'm not looking after my own plants, I'm looking after other people's. If you don't follow me over on Instagram or TikTok, you can find me there at Wild Houseplants. And if you do enjoy this video today, I'd love it if you hit that subscribe button below because it really does help out my channel. Okay, let's go and have a look at my plants. We are in the middle of the growing season right now, so there's some really nice, exciting things happening. So let's go take a look. Okay, let's start in this corner with Mama Monstera because she is just putting out the most incredible leaf at the moment, as you can see here, which has just the most beautiful fenestrations. And I don't know if you can kind of tell on camera, but this new leaf is going to be substantially bigger than the last one, which is this one here, and is also a lot has a lot more fenestrations as well. So she's still hardening off, she's still really soft at the moment, but she's going to be an absolute beaut and I really can't wait to see just how big that leaf is. This Monstera is one that I've grown from just a teeny tiny Monstera, and I chopped off the top section and propagated her and then I planted her up. This one lives in semi-hydro and she absolutely loves it. She probably is due for another size up at some point, but I'll see how she does. Probably I might do it towards the end of the summer, but for now I just want to see what she can do for me in this growing season. But yeah, I absolutely love her and just so pleased that she's adapted well to this space and rewarded me with this beautiful leaf here. So gorgeous. With this one I just have to be really on top of it with cleaning her leaves because thrips absolutely love Monstera. So yeah, I just have to keep on top of that and then hopefully she will continue to grow and look beautiful. Down here I've got my Philodendron Prince of Orange, and as you can see she has also just put out this absolutely beautiful new leaf here. Again, still hardening off, but when they come in, they come this gorgeous orange colour, and then as the leaves mature they go more to this sort of darker green colour, still with a little bit of like an orangey tint. Don't know if that comes across on camera. This one had a little bit of like sport variegation, but yeah, that orange is just so stunning. So loving that one as well. I had a couple of other smaller Monsteras and I actually potted them all up together. So this Monstera here is a separate one, and that one's just rewarded me with this new leaf here, which is a sort of classic Monstera shape. She obviously hasn't got her secondary fenestrations yet, but also just loving that. And I put it next to my other Monstera just to give her more of a full look there. I've then got my Oxalis triangularis, which has always been a really fantastic grower for me. And I actually potted her, gave her a repot in a recent video, a couple of videos ago, and she's responded so well to that repot. She is just looking so lovely and full there, and lots of lovely, beautiful purple flowers. So absolutely loving her. Behind that, you can't really see her very well. I probably need to find a slightly better position for her, but that's the top section of my Monstera elbow. I've got a few different sections because I sort of chopped her up and propagated her. And this one also lives in semi-hydro and she is on a moss pole. I've just given her a moss pole extension just so that these aerial roots that you can see here can also start to grow into the moss and these leaves can start to size up, and she is just also really happy there at the moment. Behind here I've got my Monstera pinipetita and she's just started to give me fenestrations, which is the main reason I actually bought this plant. And I've had her for quite a long time. She's really never rewarded me with any kind of fenestrations until I moved into this space. So when I came back from holiday recently, I noticed that this leaf had a fenestration. So that's one fenestration, and this leaf has two. So I imagine that the next leaf to come will probably have 3 fenestrations. That tends to be how it is with these Monstera, and that they get more and more fenestrated as they grow and mature. I don't know if many of you remember my original player. I'll put a picture on the screen, but I used to have a very beautiful, full, large player, and she looked great for a really long time. And then she started to get quite kind of leggy, and she was losing a lot of leaves. And obviously what happens with this main stem here is that as the main stem continues to grow, the leaves fall off this bottom section here. And so you need to keep these pups in the pot to fill out the bottom section, just to give you that really full look and sort of hide that main stem. But mine had just gone too tall, too leggy. And so I actually chopped her and started her again. And so this is the beginning of her next journey. And I'm just so pleased with how she's doing. She's given me these really beautiful flat leaves, which is what I always want from a player. And what I also love about players is I had a pretty bad sort of spider mite outbreak recently in this section here, but she never seems to get pests. And now I've said that, she probably will, but I find them really resistant to pests. Yeah, I've been growing Palea for quite a long time and she's never had any. So yeah, let me know in the comments if you struggle with pests on your Palea. But personally, even with clients' plants, I've never really had an issue with them. But yeah, I just absolutely love these like flat pancake leaves, and I'm really excited to see how she continues to grow this year. My Mandula Pothos is actually really starting to size up now. That is definitely the biggest leaf that she's given me. And I think she's really enjoying this space, because in my last house, I had her in my bedroom and I wasn't really prioritizing light for her, but there's just so much natural light in this house that she is just loving it. But I do need to make a decision about what I do, because she is reaching the top of that pole. But I recently transferred my neon pothos, which I'll show you in a minute. Actually, I'll show you that now. So this one, again, in a recent video, I transferred her off the wire pole onto this plastic backed moss pole. And we've had some success and some not so much success. So basically what's happened is, obviously I had to take her off the last pole, and that was quite stressful for her. So the good news is we have new growth, which means that she has accepted the new pole. Their roots have started to grow into the moss, and she will continue to grow and climb. The bad news was that I did lose in the process about 4 or 5 leaves here, that obviously just from the stress, and they hadn't taken into the pole sort of quickly enough. So yeah, I've now got this sort of bald section at the bottom, and it's not the end of the world. I could put in some more cuttings and get them to climb up, which is what I'll probably do at some point. But the good news is that the rest of the top section has accepted the pole, and there's new growth on the way. So we should be good to continue that one on its journey. But I'm a little bit nervous to do that with my Mandula, just because obviously the likelihood is that I will lose quite a few leaves, and she's just so full. And even though not all the leaves are massive, I just love how full that pole is. So yeah, I have to think about what to do with that one. And then I have just filmed a care video all about how I grew this Philodendron gloriosum. Obviously she's just looking absolutely amazing at the moment. She's just loving this. She gets this direct sun in the morning between about 9 AM and sort of 11:30, and she absolutely loves it. And that's the latest leaf there, which you can see, which is obviously just so much bigger than the last one. But she has reached the end of her planter. These guys are crawlers. And she has reached the end of the planter there. So I will need to think about sizing her up, and I'm a little bit nervous to do it. But yes, for now, I'm just really enjoying that. And it's, yeah, I explained that in the video, but basically this wasn't a plant that I particularly was that excited about, but now I've sort of realized the potential of it. I am absolutely loving her. My peperomia raindrop, which I've shared quite a few videos of over on Instagram, is also just doing so beautifully at the moment. And I just love how she grows, because she kind of grows upwards, but she's not supported by anything. Her stems are just quite strong. And again, the leaves are just looking so lovely at the moment. This is my green oxalis, so very similar to the purple one, but obviously just green, and she produces these little white flowers. She is also doing well. I find that she doesn't like quite as much light as the purple one, but she sort of gets a little bit of direct sun. She seems to be doing well with that, and again, looking nice and full there. Behind that, I've got my philodendron silver sword, which is now definitely swording. Took a really long time for this to get its like mature leaf shape. I was getting a lot of leaves just like this for a very long time, but she's now establishing well into that moss pole. And again, I've got 2 new leaves on the way here, and this one has just popped out, so still working on unfurling at the moment. And then in the front here, I have my anthurium crystallinum hybrid, and again, she is just such a winner. I love her so much, and she is also, if we can see in here, working on a little baby leaf, so that is exciting too. At the back here, I have my cupria, which definitely needs more light than she's getting in that dark section there. But she's not looking amazing at the moment, and I just need to think about how I can get her to display a little bit better, because her leaves are kind of growing in all different directions. She hasn't got a lot of kind of structure to her, so I need to think about how I can potentially sort her out a little bit more. I've got another Monstera elbow up here, smaller one. I did find some thrips on this little leaf that was unfurling, so I've just treated her, but I haven't really got anywhere to put her, so for now she's gone back up there, and I'm just going to keep a very close eye on her. This is very exciting. This is the first plant I think I've bought this year, and definitely the first plant since moving into this house. This is my new baby, my anthurium pallidiflorum, and I've wanted a pallidiflorum for a very long time, but I haven't seen one that I thought was a good size and a fair price. These are not the cheapest plants, and they've become very, very popular recently. And yeah, I found this one on Eastern Tropicals website, and I was actually happy with the price and the size of her. So yeah, I haven't done anything with her at the moment. She came in a really nice chunky mix, so I've just left her in there and just let her acclimate before I decide if I'm going to move her into semi-hydroponics or just leave her in soil for now. But yeah, the newest member of the family. My Philodendron biliete, I had to chop it and start it again. Again, I moved it from one moss pole to another, and it just didn't like that at all. It started to rot, so I took this top cutting, but I haven't got any signs of new leaf coming, I don't think at the moment, but lots of nice happy roots. So hopefully in time we will get something nice going on. So yeah, this shelf is something that we've put up since moving in. I love these floating shelves from IKEA. They are so cheap, and I think they work really well and kind of go really seamlessly with like a white wall. And I'm always just looking for more places to put the plants, so that's definitely something that we've done new, I think, since I've last sort of showed you around. This is my Player Mojito, but it's not very mojito-y. It's basically supposed to be kind of slightly speckledy, and you can see it a little bit, but it's never done much. But I still like it, still looking lovely up there. You can just see we are struggling a little bit with the humidity in here. This room is very, very warm and gets a lot of light. I do have 2 humidifiers, but they're not on right now. I'm trying not to run them too much. And we have had quite a lot of rain the last few days. So yeah, it's not looking too bad, but I would like it to be closer to 50 ideally. Little alocasia stingray that I got from a plant swap not so long ago. Got another alocasia, my Yucatan princess at the back. That one also recently had spider mites, but seems to be recovering, which is good. And then I've got 2 alocasia frydek here. This one's just put out 2 new leaves at the back. That's the bigger one. And then this is the smaller one at the front. And I've just put them close together there to sort of give a fuller look, almost like they are one plant. And then I have a little Hoya in here. I actually don't know the idea of this Hoya. There's quite a few that look kind of similar to this, with this kind of speckledy leaf. So if you know what the idea is, I also got this from a plant swap as well. And I've just got it on this little trellis at the moment, but I need to probably get it more of a circular trellis. And it probably wants a little bit more light than what it's got going on here as well. But yeah, for now it's just there. My Calathea orbifolia hasn't been doing anything. I've had it in the front room, which is a much darker room. I hadn't really been giving it much love. So I've just moved it in here about a week ago, and I've already noticed I've got, 1, 2, 3 new growth points, which would be really nice because it's been, oh God, so long since that plant has given me new leaves. Like, it hasn't died. I know this can be a really difficult plant. This is the second one I've had. I have lost one before to thrips. And it looks okay, but I would love to see some new growth on there. My peace lily is doing brilliantly. She has got 5 blooms at the moment, which is actually the most blooms she's ever given me. She used to live in my north-facing kitchen, and now she's in this south-facing room, and she doesn't get any direct sun. She doesn't really get, I'd say she's in medium light. She's really quite far back from where the window is and also the skylight, which I'll get onto in a minute. But I think she's obviously happy because we've got lots of nice blooms. And a little Stromanth down there, not really much to say about that. I don't know if any of you remember this one from when I've done other alocasia videos in the past. Oh, hang on, let me try and get her out there so you can see her properly. But this is a Zebrina that I've grown. Oh, hang on a minute. That's better. So this is a little Zebrina that I've grown completely from corms. I will put in a picture on the screen of how she looked when I first sort of propagated her. But she's becoming like such a proper little plant now. And I've got her in this really tall vase, which obviously the pot only goes down to about here or something, but I just think it really gives her a little bit of height, and I'm just loving how she's growing at the moment. So yeah, really loving her. One day she hopefully will be a really big Zebrina like my other one, and yeah, I'm excited for that. Other than that, I haven't got much going on up here, just a few little propagations and a little Pothos over there. So the other thing that we've been working on is, ever since I walked into this house and saw this skylight, I knew that I wanted to be able to have plants hanging up here. So me and my husband went to Wix, which is like a building merchant, and we found this white bar, and he very cleverly has attached it into the wall up there on either side. And then my mother-in-law actually found these really big S hooks, and I've been able to hang up these planters, which are all from IKEA. And yeah, I just absolutely love that. We've got Lepismium bolivianum, which I used to have a huge one of these and a lot of it died, but this section is doing really well. The love of my life at the moment, which is my Hoya Bella, and as you can see, she has got so many. That bloom is open. Oh, actually that's a new one that's just opened this morning. That was one that opened yesterday, but she's got about 16 blooms that are all going to be opening in the next few days, and I just absolutely cannot wait. She's just been like such a brilliant grower for me, and she lives in semi-hydro, and she's also just an absolute star, and I think she looks so stunning up there and really full and beautiful. Next to her I've got my Hoya linearis. That's another one that I had to sort of stop, prop and start again because it really wasn't happy. but now it's living in semi-hydro, and again, really happy. Obviously these plants are getting a huge amount of light, and it's only been about 2 weeks since I put them up here. So it's definitely still like monitoring them and seeing how they're doing. Because for some plants that would be too much light, and depending on how sunny it is, sometimes I'm up there just giving them a little bit of water, well, especially the ones in semi-hydro, which is these 3, almost every day or every few days so that they don't dry out. This is my Peperomia Hope, and this one is actually in soil, so it's a little bit less high maintenance, but she has been living in my living room in a lot lower light. So I'm just, again, needed to see how she adjusts, because it might just be too much light intensity for her. So watch this space with that one. I've also put up these 2 planters up here. These planters are from H&M Home. Let me just get a bit of a closer look, 1 second. Yeah, so I've got my variegated jade in this one here, which is looking really lovely. And I've forgotten the name of this one. I always forget the name of this one, but I love it. It's like this sort of silvery blue succulent. I'll put the name on the screen, and I think they look so nice. These are like kind of like a mushroomy colour. And again, yeah, like I say, H&M Home, absolutely loving those. Initially my husband was like, no, we're not putting any plants by the door, because these are like bifold doors that you can open all the way, and he was like, I don't want anything hanging in front of the door. But because these plants are quite compact and they stay quite compact, I don't think it's going to get to the point where they're like trailing in front of the doors. Just here on my island I have my Alocasia Sarian. This one has been in my bad books, which is not unusual for this plant because it's such a pest magnet. This is actually a plant that I've grown completely from corms, because the mother plant had terrible spider mites. And I'll put in a picture of how small this plant was when I restarted it. But recently it got terrible spider mites again, and I had to chop off quite a lot of the leaves. And I do just love this plant, but I just have to keep an eye on it. And I did have it in isolation, and I realized I was kind of ignoring it. So yeah, I put it here now so that I can literally clean the leaves every day, or as often as I can be bothered, to try and keep on top of the pests that way. Same for this guy here, which is my Philodendron campii, also spider mite magnet. I love the leaves when they look lovely, but yeah, they can just look really ratty sometimes when they've been spider bitten. So yeah, just always have to keep an eye and just keep on top of it all the time. And then my little mixed planter of Epipremnum. I love this. It's probably getting a little bit too much light, which is why some of the leaves look a little bit faded. Can you see that there? That to me looks like it's just getting a little bit too much sun where it is, but I do really love it as a concept. So yeah. So the previous owners had their fridge in this space, but our fridge doesn't fit. So we went to IKEA and bought this shelf here, which I think fits in quite nice, and it's a very similar grey to the cupboards, kitchen cupboards. This is actually a bit of a sad one. This is my neon Pothos trailing, and it used to be down to the ground, but I think what happened was it was on top of the fridge, which is right at the back of the room and doesn't get a huge amount of light. And I think it got underwatered and then overwatered, and the roots were just really unhappy. And I have replanted it and removed some sad leaves and then chopped quite a lot off it, like a lot. So we'll see if it bounces back, but it just feels really limp. And normally this plant, after it's been watered, would be really firm and just look really bouncy. So I don't know. I mean, it's a pretty cheap plant. Obviously I can buy it again, but it's just a bit sad because it was so beautiful at one point, but it's now just looking, no, not so happy. But yes. My fishbone cactus, it's got lots of nice new growth on it. I think this one needs a repot actually. Yeah, and I may end up, maybe if the Peperomia Hope doesn't do so well, I might end up putting it up there in one of the skylight planters. String pearls is doing good. My philodendron mycans is doing well, looking quite nice and full there. Just have to keep an eye on thrips on this one as well, because I don't know, the thrips always find this one too. I had to restart my little Aglaonema pictum tricolour. She was one of the few plants that when I left my plants, we'd just moved in here, then I went on holiday, and all the plants did really well apart from this one. She just had a lot of yellowing on the leaves. So I've got one little growth point down there, which I think maybe is starting to produce some new leaves. And then that section there, so but hopefully we can get her back on track. Another little player, this one I've let to sort of trail out the pot, and I think that looks quite fun there. Another little alocasia, this one's another one that's always got spider mites, so just have to keep an eye on it. My, if you can see it through the humidity dome, alocasia Frydek is doing okay. It's got quite a few, let's just get it out 1 second. Yeah, she's got quite a few leaves, but she just is growing very, very slowly. And I was kind of hoping when my big Frydek passed away, that when I saved these corms that they'd be doing more by now. But so far, no. But there is new growth on the way, so just have to see and be patient with her. A huge amount to report down here. These are some neon cuttings that I'm trying to rescue from the one that I cut off the mother plant. Got a little syngonium in there, a little Fittonia, some more cuttings. My little alocasia silver dragon. I did lose my big alocasia silver dragon, which is very, very sad, but I messed with her too much and she did sadly die. But I do have this little one, which I think I'm very confident that I can get back to looking as beautiful as the mama. Little watermelon peperomia is actually doing really, really well. These are some cuttings that I completely forgot about, and yeah, now I've just given them a little bit more light, and actually she's doing really well. So hopefully I can get a nice full plant of this. She's one of the more difficult peperomias I've ever tried to grow. This is another little update, which is that I did lose my big alocasia dragon scale to a fungal infection, and these are all the corms that actually that is actually a different one. I think that's a sinuata, but when I was potting up the corms, they all looked very similar. But yeah, I thought I'd just leave that one in there because I'm not going to grow a single one on its own. But yeah, these are all the little corms that I've grown, and now I've potted them up together, and I'm hoping I'll be able to get another full plant back again. This is my Aglaonema cutlass, which also struggled and is now making a little comeback as well. And I've got a little alocasia aslanii down there. That's just a couple of corms propagating. I've got some nice leaves. If you did see my plant chores video a few videos ago, then you'll know that I chopped up my big Rhaphidophora tetrasperma that used to be climbing the walls up here, but I just didn't like how it was growing. It just wasn't really doing anything for me. So I was like, yeah, no, that's not for me anymore. I'm going to chop it up and start it again. And then I was able to put the shelf up that you can see there. So yeah, definitely not missing that plant crawling up the wall like that. It just had inconsistent treatment conditions, and so it was kind of just growing in a kind of mad, kind of random way. And I think that looks much more kind of uniform and nice, hopefully. Coming over to the window, obviously it's very intense light right in this south facing window, so I have to be quite selective with what plants can and can't handle this space, and I'm kind of always monitoring things. But in this little IKEA planter here, I've got my Sansevieria moonshine at the bottom here, which is absolutely desperate for a repot, and once it does get one, it won't actually fit in that planter anymore. Coming up here, this is my Hoya Crimson Princess, which has just gone mad. Like, it is just putting out vines everywhere, and it's just such a beautiful, beautiful Hoya. Never bloomed for me. I think these ones can be quite tricky to get them to bloom, but just putting out the most amazing amount of growth. And some of these leaves are just furacano, so they're really big. And again, it's just going round and round this circular trellis here now. So whether or not I can get another bigger trellis, I'm not really sure, but yeah, loving that one. My euphorbia here is doing amazingly. This also needs a repot. Probably need to put it into terracotta, I think, because it's getting quite top heavy, and it's starting to branch now, as you can see here. And yeah, it does fall over when I try and move it. So I think I need to get it into a heavy kind of terracotta planter. This succulent is desperate for some sort of something or other. Succulents will do this, and sometimes it can be a sign that they are, oh look, not some nice crispy leaves that I need to prune in there, looking for more light. But this one gets loads of light. It's just got really top heavy. So I've got a couple of options. Whoops. I can either, I just love the colour. Look at the colour of that though. That is so beautiful. It's like a rose, but a succulent rose. I just think they're so gorgeous. Yeah, I can either just plant it a little bit deeper, or I can chop it and start it again. So yeah, again, something to be done down there. And then one of my string of hearts. Oops, oh gosh, look, she's growing everywhere. Let's just pick her up. This one grows around a trellis, and she's also just absolutely loving this south-facing window. Oh, well, doesn't want to focus, but yeah, probably needs to be on a shelf rather than on the floor. But I've kind of still got to find homes for a few of my plants. This is my Monstera Peru, which it's not actually burnt, but something fell on it, and so it's just scarred from where it got damaged. But again, this plant just doesn't really want to grow for me. It's kind of looked like that forever. So we'll see. There is a new leaf on the way there. We'll see what happens with that one. I just love the texture of these leaves, but yeah, to be seen. Oh, I just noticed you, little leaf. Hello. And then coming along here, I mean, these are my two ficus, and again, they are probably getting a ridiculous amount of light. I mean, these are trees that grow obviously outside. On a recent, when we went to Australia a couple of months ago, or a month ago, I saw an absolutely huge tree of this ficus elastica. I'll put it on the screen, and it was just like, wow. So yeah, they are getting a lot of light, and they're both desperate for a repot as well. So that is also something that needs to happen. And then little dragon's breath down there and a few other little plants. That's a orchid that I've just repotted, but nothing else really too much to update you on over there. Let's head out to the garden. Okay, so I got a bit shy because my neighbour was in their garden, so I'm just going to do a little voiceover here. This is my succulent plant that I planted up last March, and as you can see, it's survived a winter outside now, and it's absolutely so full. Loads and loads of blooms on the way, and I just absolutely love it. It's been such a little success story for me. A little bee hotel that was kindly sent to me from Bert's Bees. The garden is a long-term project, so for now we're just looking to be able to create a little bit of colour and dimension on the patio so that we can just enjoy looking out here and sitting out here before we end up doing a little bit more with the garden. This is a tiny bean that my daughter grew at school and brought it home, and I have no idea what I'm doing. I've never grown beans before, but it's flowering, so I'm interested to see what will happen. We do have new garden furniture, which you can see it's actually covered today because it's been sort of raining on and off. But yeah, I've got into alpines recently, so I've created this little alpine planter, which I also love, and this beautiful succulent here at the back. And yeah, I'm just really enjoying these. It produces beautiful little flowers, and I really just love putting these planters together. And I just think they create like a nice little centerpiece for this table outside on our patio. I also picked up this little beautiful alpine plant as well. I can't remember what it's called. I'll pop it on the screen. But yeah, and also my husband loves a fuchsia, so I also bought a fuchsia, which is just coming into flower now. Yeah, and also got a new lovely lime green umbrella. But yeah, as you can see, the garden is a big project, and we've got lots of really nice ideas, and I'm really excited about it. But for the now, we're just trying to add a little bit of colour on the patio. This is actually a Belfast sink that was left in our garden by the previous people in the house, and I just cleaned it out, and I've planted it up with some lovely lupins and cosmos and some salvia and some grasses back here as well. And yeah, I think so far it's been quite a success, so I'm really enjoying that. And then just some other planters that we've pretty much bought from our previous house. And then at the front, I've got some lovely hostas that are doing well. The smaller green one is definitely getting munched by the snails, but this beautiful one here seems to be doing really well. I think it's a combination of the tin planter that they don't like climbing up, and also that it's got longer stems. One thing we definitely want to keep in the garden is this camellia here, which we've given a really good prune to. Well, my husband has. But yeah, that's the garden. Stay tuned for more updates, because there's definitely lots more to come. Into the living room, and this room is definitely still, we've done quite a bit, but there's still quite a lot more to do. We've put up this, again, a floating shelf from IKEA. Looks like I need to put another plant in there. It's looking a little bit uneven. But yeah, this is a lot of my trailing plants that are up here. This room is north facing, and so it doesn't get a huge amount of light, especially not back there. So I do need to think about how I can maybe up the light for those guys there. I've got loads and loads of grow lights, and I've put up some, but not all of them. So I do need to think about how I can maybe put some more light onto this section here. But I just love the look of a trailing shelf of different gorgeous things. I've got various different epipremnums up there, and then I've got also a little philodendrons, that one there. But yeah, my Enjoy, Marble Queen, Cebu Blue, and Global Green, and just a jade one on the end there. And then I have this little shelf here that I used to have up in my bedroom with this gorgeous planter that I got from Dunelm, which has just got lots of little epipremnum cuttings in it at the moment. And then my Maranta, which is actually doing well. I had to cut it completely back because it got spider mites, and it's made a lovely recovery. Another little albo there. And then a couple of my ferns, my asparagus fern here, and my Boston at the back there. Again, probably not their forever home, but yeah. And then coming over to the mantelpiece, and I've got some, like, another variegated string of hearts trailing there, some aglaonema, my spider plant, which I absolutely love, another mandula up there, and yeah. This house, when we first came into this room, we thought, oh my God, there's just so much blue in here. But that is actually an original fireplace. And I did talk about this on my stories, but at some point, someone has nailed something over here to cover this fireplace, and like drilled or nailed directly into the tiles. So the tiles were split, and you could see that I've actually coloured it in with some felt tip pen, which I'm not saying is a complete and utter success, but I think it looks a little bit like, from afar, it's less noticeable than sort of white where it had been chipped. So yeah. And then we've recently got this new cabinet here, which I absolutely love. And there will be at some point a TV probably coming into this room. But for now, I've got my two big Floridas. So that's the Florida Green. That's putting out a new leaf there. And my Florida Ghost. And these plants, the problem is they're just so, the petioles are so long, on here that it's quite difficult trying to find somewhere to put them. And obviously once there's a TV in here, they won't be able to stay there. So I've got to think about how I can kind of control them a little bit more. That's the latest leaf on that one, which is so beautiful. And then there's lots of just disorganisation. Hello, what you doing there, cheeky boy? Hey, what you doing, cheeky boy? I've got my big Zebrina here, which is not a good place for her, and she's been here since we moved in, and it's just not enough light for her at all. And she's looking absolutely fine, but she's definitely not looking her best, and that's because she's just not getting anywhere near enough light. That being said, she is producing a new leaf for me here, but I just would like to get her into the main room where there is just more light for her. But yeah, that's how she's doing at the moment. And then I've got my little begonia here, which is flowering. Look at those gorgeous little blooms. And I just think this leaf structure is so fun. And then my anthurium clarinervium, which is also doing really well. I did take this one on a photo shoot a couple of months ago, and while this leaf was unfurling, it got all janky because it just got crushed while I was on public transport. But it has given me another new leaf since then, which is that one there. Again, she's growing in a bit of a funky way because she's getting a light source from above, so she's not quite sure which way her leaves should be facing. And again, I always like them to be facing out one way just because I just think it looks the best. But she's still looking beautiful in there. I do still have a couple more shelves to put up, and I'm like wondering if I put another shelf up here. But again, it's the light issue in this room because there just isn't a huge amount of good natural light. Obviously my daughter's been in here. But yeah, there's still definitely work to do in this room, but there's lots to like and enjoy as well. This is our utility room, and it's definitely still a work in progress. But what I have done, is put up quite a lot of shelves up here just so we could fit some more things in. And I've got my soil supplies in here, which means they're not out in the main space sort of making a mess, but I've got my little DIY soil mix here, leca, perlite, some moss, other ready-made soils here, orchid bark. So yeah, I definitely would like to decorate this little space at some point and make it look a little less utility-y. But for now, at least I've got my sort of main soil supplies just there. So yeah. Okay, so that's it for this updates video today. As you can see, we haven't done anything like majorly structural or decorating down here. The downstairs of this house was pretty done, and so for now we've been focusing on making it a home and putting up shelves, and obviously just the railing up there for the hanging plants, and also just adding some colour to the patio, so when we look out we can just see some pots and some nice colour and things like that. The garden itself is a long-term project. It's going to take a couple of years for us to have that done because we've got some quite big plans for it, and yeah, it just takes time. But there will be a greenhouse at some point, which I'm very excited about, because my plan is that I will do all my repotting and stuff out there and save making a lot of mess in here, or that is the plan anyway. So yeah, and of course there is also the upstairs of the house, but that is slightly chaotic still. There are some plants up there, and I will share those in another video at some point, but nothing majorly going on with the plants up there. They're doing fine. But yeah, there's none of my major kind of favourites up there, and that's because the light down here is so great that obviously the majority of the plants are here in this room here. So yeah, thank you for watching, and if you have any questions, drop them down in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.